I have been asked about safety when it comes to traveling as a solo female traveler. I think the thing about safety is everybody's definition of safety is so different. And I think that when it comes to safety, you just have to take this common sense approach to safety. But I do not think, and I could be wrong, but I do not think that you need to take a bunch of extra steps, extra measures when it comes to safety in a lot of countries that you travel to. I think that when you travel to developed countries, they generally tend to be a lot safer than, say, the United States. A lot safer. So for me, I take the same precautions I would take when I'm traveling in the States, but probably a lot more relaxed. But that's me personally. You have to do whatever you're comfortable doing. I find that when I travel outside the US, I am a lot less guarding. I am more trusting of people. If someone says, hey, follow me here, I want to show you this, I'm going to follow them. If somebody in the States comes up to me and say, hey, you should go visit this place, I can show you, I'm probably going to start getting my pepper spray ready, because I think that living in the US, we have to be extra cautious because it's not a safe country to live in. And I think that being in the US and living there so long, you kind of have your guard on edge, especially as a woman, as a Black woman, as a Black person. You feel like you are on constant survival mode. You just never know what the next threat is, and you can't let your guard down when you're in the US. I find for myself, when I travel outside the US, I can let my guard down. I feel safer in other developed countries, such as countries in Europe. So therefore, I may do things that I probably would not ever do in the US. But would I recommend that to other people? No, you have to do what you are comfortable with. When I first started traveling as a solo female traveler, I used to pack pepper spray. Not gonna lie. I used to pack pepper spray in my checked luggage, and that's when it was free to check your bags when you're traveling. But as it became like something that they started charging for, I stopped checking my bags. Therefore, I couldn't carry pepper spray anymore. But the reality is, I never really needed pepper spray. I never found that I needed pepper spray, but as one of those, I guess, comfort items, I carried pepper spray around when I first started. And if that's something that you feel you need to do, check a bag, pack your pepper spray. Also, look up the rules of the country, because pepper spray is not allowed in every country. Like crossing the border from the US to Canada, you're not allowed to pack pepper spray. They will confiscate it. Research the rules. Don't do anything that's gonna land you in jail. Use common sense. If you wouldn't do certain things in the States, don't do it someplace else. Some people say don't post your location until you leave a place. Sometimes, depending on where I am, I will never post when say if I'm out at a restaurant, I'm not gonna take a picture, tag myself in that restaurant. But say if I left that restaurant later that night, even if I'm in that same city, I might post it. And it just depends on where I am, whether or not I feel comfortable, whether or not I'm open to people reaching out to me on the internet. And that's another thing, because sometimes you just might be open to making new friends, right? You just hope that the friends that you make are decent people. But sometimes you might be open to meeting new friends. And one of the ways to meet friends is by tagging your location or your city, not your actual precise location, but the city that you're visiting to. People might see, like, oh, this person's city, I wouldn't mind meeting up with her. So again, use discretion. If you're comfortable with tagging your location and knowing that other people have access to it and can see that you're there, do that. And if you are not, then don't tag yourself. And don't do precise locations. Do cities or regions when you tag yourself. If you do decide to tag yourself and you're still in that area, like if you are spending time in that area, don't do precise location. Don't do, and places where people can identify where you're staying at night, that type of thing. But again, it all depends on your comfort level and what you're hoping to gain, if anything, from tagging yourself and posting those images or videos or whatever. And then, I don't drink or anything like that. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. So I really don't have much advice on stuff like that, except to be smart about those type of things. Don't drink to the point where you are not able to control your situation and your environment, because it makes you more vulnerable for the things that you might be afraid of happening to you. People are very big on asking you a lot of personal questions, I have found. But in their mind, they don't see it as a big deal. But if you, like myself, have been in the military and been around the military most of your life, you are taught not to share certain things about yourself. But so for you, it's a big deal when people ask certain questions. But for the person asking, it's like nothing. I'm just curious. I'm just trying to get to know you, type of thing. You can decide what you're willing to share, whether or not you want to divert the conversation, that type of thing. So, some people who approach me and they're like, are you by yourself or are you alone? I'll be like, no, I'm not alone. I'm with you. Whatever. I'll make a joke out of it if I, don't want to answer the question. You just have to kind of decide what you're willing to share, what you're not willing to share, how much you're willing to share. For me, when it comes to me being asked questions, it just depends on my mood that I'm in, whether or not I'm willing to share versus not willing to share. I socially get burnt out easily. So if I'm just not in the mood socially, I'm not willing to share a lot. But I try to just kind of, make a joke, laugh it off. Because people really don't see when people often don't notice when I make a joke instead of answering their question. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.